This pattern is Oliver Kite's famous Imperial, and to dress this fly I'm using a Mustad R50 XAP size 12. For the tying thread I'm using Uni 80 purple, which is where the fly gets its Imperial name from. For the rib I'm using fine gold wire. For the body I'm using natural Heron primary herl. This will also be used for the fly's distinctive thorax. For the tail I'm using some dun coloured paintbrush fibres, and for the hackle I'm using a honey dun cock hackle. Now to dress this fly, simply come in with your fly tying thread and catch it in directly behind the eye of the hook. And here I'm going to take probably about 10 or 12 nice tight turns of thread. Snip off the waist end, and now we come with our paintbrush fibres for the tail. And I'm just going to strip out, I'd say about 5 or 6 if I can. I'll take my scissors and just cut them out. And now I'm going to place them on top of the hook shank just to judge the final length of the tail. And I like about there, that's looked quite nice. So now, trapping them down, and just take a nice simple pinch and loop and bind them down onto the hook, like so. I quite like that. Now come in with my scissors and just trim off that waist end of tail fibres. And now I'm going to take my fine gold wire and I'm just going to judge it so it's in line there with the end of the tail fibres, and I'm just going to catch it down with a few tight turns. Just missed it there. Come on. There we go. And now I'm going to bring my fly tying thread back down the hook shank, and I just grip the rib and the tail fibres in my fingers and just pull them taut so they lie flat on the top of the hook shank, like so. Probably take another couple of turns. There we go. Now, taking my Heron herl primary, I'm just going to take out 4 or 5 fibres, and now I'm going to mount the Heron herl so the tip is in line with my original tying point of the tail. I come down with tight touching turns of thread and thoroughly bind the herl in. And it'll become apparent later on why I keep the tips, the rib and the tail fibres all in line. Now take the Heron herl either in your fingers or your hackle pliers and just start to form the herl body of the fly. And you don't want to be twisting the herl, you want to keep it so it's nice and flat. So it's easier in your fingers, you can untwist the herl as you proceed down the fly body. And keeping those herl fibres nice and tight within your fingers just produce a nice fluffy body to the fly. Bit fiddly when you get to the end, but now again I come to where I bound down the tail and the rib and the herl. So now take my tying thread and I just bind that down with 3 nice tight turns of thread. Now I'm going to trim those herl stalks off, like so. And now what I'm going to do is I'll sort out enough herl for my thorax. And now I'm ready to rib the fly. Now taking the wire, I'm just going to put a nice even segmented rib onto the body of the fly, and I'm not going to come all the way down the fly body. I'm basically going to finish my rib about 2/3 of the way down, like so. This is because I'm now going to mount in the thorax. So I'm going to take earlier prepared Heron herl and I'm going to come with my rib and I'm just going to trap it down with 2 turns. Like so. Now taking my tying thread, I'm going to bind that rib down. Here I've got a pair of old scissors, so I'm just going to snip the end off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to form a thorax and a wing cover. So I'm going to take my herl again and I'm going to produce a nice distinctive thorax to the fly. So I'll just trap it in with my hackle pliers. I'm going to go and wrap 3 or 4 more turns of herl onto the thorax region just to bulk up that region. Now taking my fly tying thread, I'm just going to trap it down with 2 or 3 nice tight turns. There we go. Give it a nice pull. Trim off the waist end. And now to complete the thorax area, I bring back that weight in herl and just finish off the thorax. I take my silk and just trap it down with a couple of nice tight turns. And now I want to tidy up this area of the fly so I've got a nice foundation for when I come with my hackle. So, as with all dry flies, I just take a few extra turns off one side of the hackle. So it's going to sit nice and flat when I take my turns of hackle. I bind it down with some nice tight wraps of thread. Cut off the waist end of stalk. And I'll just tidy it up so I've got a nice flat foundation there for the hackle wraps. Now taking the hackle in my hackle pliers, I'm just going to take probably 4 or 5 nice even turns of hackle. Any hackle fibres in the way, just stroke them back a little bit. Probably see if I can get one more in. There we go. Now bind down that hackle with your fly tying thread. I'm going to do 3 nice secure turns. As always, I just like to bang one in front to clean the eye up. Come in with my scissors and trim off the waste end of hackle. Brush any fibres out of the way. There's one there I don't like, I'll take that. And now, with my whip finish tool, I'm just going to form a nice, neat, small head to the fly. And you don't need too many turns. Pull it tight. Give your thread a good pull so it's nice and tight. I think I'll go one more, I think. There we are, that's a bit better. Bit smoother. Again, pull it tight. Come in with my scissors and just trim off the thread. Straighten up any of those stray fibres. And trim that one out of there I don't like. And there we have Oliver Kite's Imperial.